UFC 278 Usman vs Edwards 2. Leon Edwards scores last-minute knockout to win welterweight title. Salt Lake City, Leon Edwards has shocked the MMA world. With the head kick in the final round of a fight he was handily losing, Edwards knocked out Usman to win the UFC welterweight title in the main event of UFC 278 on Saturday night here at Vivint Arena. The finish came at 4:04 of the fifth round. Usman was considered the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Edwards snapped Usman's 15-fight UFC winning streak, which was a UFC record. It was one of the most stunning knockouts in the history of the sport. "I can't put it into words," Edwards said. Usman had been dominating the fight after the first round. But Usman leaned down to his right to defend an Edwards left and Edwards caught him flush with a left head kick, sending the more than 17,000 in attendance into a frenzy. Usman, who was out on contact, was less than a minute away from a sixth title defense. Leon Edwards takes Kamaru Usman's UFC title with fifth-round head kick KO. Leon Edwards shocked the MMA world. With the head kick in the final round of a fight he was handily losing, Edwards knocked out Kamaru Usman to win the UFC welterweight title in the main event of UFC 278 on Saturday night at Vivint Arena. The finish came at 4 minutes, 4 seconds of the fifth round. Usman was considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Edwards snapped Usman's 15-fight UFC winning streak, which was one off Anderson Silva's UFC record. It was one of the most stunning knockouts in the history of the sport. "I can't put it into words," Edwards said. Usman had been dominating the fight after the first round and was up 39-37 on all three judges' scorecards entering the fifth. But late in the fifth, Usman leaned down to his right to defend an Edwards left and Edwards caught him flush with a left head kick, sending the more than 17,000 in attendance into a frenzy. Usman, who was out on contact, was less than a minute away from a sixth title defense. The Salt Lake City fans started the night chanting for Usman, but finished it chanting Rocky, Edwards' nickname. "Look at me now," Edwards said. "Look at me now." Pound for pound 1, ESPN has Usman ranked No. 1 on its pound-for-pound list and on top at welterweight as well. Coming in, ESPN had Edwards ranked number 4 at welterweight. This was a rematch of their December 2015 fight, which Usman won by unanimous decision. Edwards, 23, won. North Carolina is unbeaten in 11 straight fights over nearly 7 years. The Jamaica-born resident of England has not lost since the 2015 fight with Usman. Edwards, 30, has an 12-1 North Carolina record in the UFC. Usman, 22, had 5 title defenses prior to the loss Saturday. The Nigerian-born fighter, who trains out of Colorado, had been UFC welterweight champion since beating Tyron Woodley at UFC 235 in March 2019. UFC President Dana White says he helped broker a deal for Tom Brady to play for Las Vegas Raiders in 2020, but John Gruden nixed it. UFC President Dana White said he helped broker a deal for quarterback Tom Brady to play for the Las Vegas Raiders when Brady was a free agent quarterback in 2020, but then Raiders coach John Gruden nullified the deal at the last minute. White was convinced to tell the story by Rob Gronkowski during the UFC with the Gronk's broadcast on ESPN and ESPN Plus for UFC 278 on Saturday night. "I worked to put the deal together for Brady and Gronk to come to the Raiders," White said. "It was almost a done deal. And at the last minute, Gruden blew the deal up and said that he didn't want him, and all hell broke loose. Man. It was crazy. And Brady was already looking at houses. It wasn't said yet that Gronk was going to be coming. So Las Vegas would have had Brady and Gronk the year that the Bucs won the Super Bowl, except Gruden blew the deal up." White added that there's so much story that goes with this behind the scenes. Gruden resigned from the Raiders in October 2021. ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter reported in 2020 when Brady was a free agent that the Raiders planned to pursue Brady if he reached free agency. He did, but ultimately signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he won the Super Bowl that season. White also said Gronkowski could have come to the Raiders. Gronkowski, however, was under contract with the New England Patriots at the time. The Patriots eventually traded Gronkowski to Tampa Bay that April. Gronkowski, who asked White the initial question, did say he was glad things worked out the way they did. "I'm glad it did not go through," Gronkowski said on the show. "It all worked out for the best, man. I'm glad we went to Tampa, man. It just worked out. I loved that place." Messages sent to Brady's agent, Don Yee, as well as representatives from the Raiders, were not immediately returned Saturday night. The Buccaneers are now in their third season with Brady as their quarterback, although he has not been in training camp this preseason. Las Vegas continues to have Derek Carr as its quarterback. Carr completed 67.3% of his passes for 4,103 yards, 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 2020 and 68.4% of his passes for 4,804 yards, 23 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in 2021. White said he was not planning on telling that story until Gronkowski asked him about it. Kamaru Usman, challenger Leon Edwards make weight for UFC 278 welterweight title fight. The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world will be back in the octagon this weekend. Kamaru Usman and challenger Leon Edwards successfully made weight Friday morning, both at exactly 170 pounds for their welterweight title fight in the main event of UFC 278 on Saturday at Vivint Arena. Usman is number 1 in ESPN's pound-for-pound MMA rankings. At welterweight, Usman is ranked number 1 by ESPN and Edwards is number 4. The two men have fought it before, with Usman winning by unanimous decision in December 2015. The 35-year-old Usman 21 is one victory away from tying Anderson Silva's UFC record win streak 16. The Nigerian-born fighter, who trains out of Colorado, has been UFC welterweight champ since his win over Tyron Woodley at UFC 235 in March 2019. He has 5 successful welterweight title defenses. Edwards 19-3 won North Carolina as unbeaten in 10 straight contests over nearly 7 years, dating to his loss to Usman. The Jamaican-born resident of Birmingham, England, has not fought since a unanimous decision win over Nate Diaz at UFC 263 in May 2021. Edwards, 30, has an 11-1 North Carolina record in the UFC. Both co-main event fighters, former middleweight champion Luke Rockhold and Paulo Costa, also made weight Friday morning. Costa weighed in at 185.5 and then complained about USADA, the UFC's anti-doping partner, coming to his room at 7 a.m. Friday morning to drug test him. Rockhold weighed in at 185. Costa, 13, to a 31-year-old former middleweight title contender from Brazil, is trying to snap a 2-fight losing streak. Rockhold, 16-5, a 37-year-old from California, has not fought since July 2019. Shanna Young was removed from her scheduled fight at UFC 278 against Miranda Maverick because of a medical issue, the UFC announced Friday morning. That bout was cancelled. Kayla Harrison clinches spot in PFL lightweight finals, references future fights against top female fighters. To the surprise of exactly no one, Kayla Harrison has once again clinched a spot in the PFL lightweight finals. Harrison 15-0 submitted Martina Jindrova 6-2 via arm triangle choke at 117 of the first round of their 155-pound semi-finals matchup on Saturday in London. Harrison put Jindrova on her back early after catching a leg kick, passed guard and went to work on the choke. It is the 9th first-round finish of her career. Immediately after the fight, Harrison declared herself the queen of women's mixed martial arts and referenced potential fights against UFC champion Amanda Nunes and Bellator MMA champion Chris Cyborg-Justino. Contractually, those fights are nowhere near reality at the moment, but it shows where Harrison's mindset lies. "I'm here to tell you that I am the queen, not of the PFL, not of the 155-pound division, but I am the queen of women's MMA," Harrison said. "And if those three Brazilians would take off their track shoes and meet me, then you'd find out." A two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, Harrison pursued free agency at the start of the year and expressed interest in leaving PFL, where she has already won the $1 million tournament twice. PFL values Harrison, however, and has made ongoing efforts to make some of her dream fights a reality. She re-signed prior to the regular season. Harrison, 32, will face a familiar foe in the finals in Brazilian Larissa Pacheco 18-4, who was apparently the third Brazilian she referenced in her comments. Pacheco advanced on Saturday by knocking out Alina Kolasink in the first round. She has won all of her fights this year via first-round knockout, but dropped 2 contests to Harrison in 2019. Pacheco lost both of those bouts via decision. Although Pacheco has already lost to Harrison twice, she likely represents her greatest threat on the PFL roster this year. In addition to the women's lightweight finals, featherweights Brendan Lonane 25-4 and Bubba Jenkins 19-5 advanced to the PFL finals. Lonane, of England, did so with a spectacular performance against Chris Wade, in which he dominated weight on the feet as the fight progressed to earn 330-27 scores. Jenkins, a former NCAA national champion wrestler, submitted Japan's Ryoji Kudo in the first round. Jenkins trains out of Las Vegas. Zhang Weili, Carla Esparza agreed to women's strawweight title fight at UFC 281, sources say. For the second straight year, Zhang Weili will get a title opportunity at Madison Square Garden. A UFC women's strawweight title fight between champion Carla Esparza and Zhang, the former champ, has been verbally agreed to for UFC 281 on November 12 in New York, multiple sources confirmed with ESPN. The fight has not yet been signed, nor officially announced by the UFC. But bout agreements have been sent out, per sources. Both fighters have posted about the fight on their respective social medias. The news of the fight was first reported by MMA reporter Ariel Helwani. ESPN has Esparza ranked number 1 in the world at 115 pounds and Zhang at number 3. Esparza 19-6 became a two-time UFC women's strawweight champion when she beat Rose Namajunas via split decision at UFC 274 back in May. The California native was the first ever UFC women's strawweight champion, beating Namajunas to win the Ultimate Fighter and the inaugural belt in 2014. Esparza, 34, is on a 6-fight winning streak. Zhang 22-3 is coming off a second-round knockout of Joanna Jędrzejczyk in June. The Chinese-born fighter lost the title to Namajunas of UFC 261 in April 2021 and then lost the rematch to Namajunas at Madison Square Garden last November at UFC 268. Zhang, 33, became the first Chinese-born fighter and second Asia-born fighter to win a UFC title when she beat Jessica Andrade to win the 115-pound belt in 2019. UFC 281 will be headlined by a middleweight title fight between champion Israel Adesanya and former kickboxing rival and top contender Alex Pereira.